Hi everyone, I'm Craig Goddard and I'm from Engineers Without Borders, Australia, and I'm just catching up for a few minutes with EWB CEO Eleanor Loudon. Uh, Hi Eleanor.
Hi, Craig. Just to take a moment to acknowledge that I am on Wurundjeri country and pay respects to elders past and present.
Thanks very much, as am I, and similarly respects to others. Eleanor, as 2022 wraps up, the EWB's First Nations appeals in full swing, and what would you say to everyone who has been able to donate or make a donation so far?
Yeah. So obviously, every cent that we get goes towards this program, the Water on Country program, and so every cent we've gotten so far, we've received so far, thank you so much. It's really it's been a tight year. It's been a super tight year. And this program is just now hitting its strides. We're just starting to see real results, and it's only a year in, and we know that this can work. So every cent that's coming in is incredibly valuable. Yeah. So thank you.
Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you. And I got to echo that as the fundraising specialist. I have to also say thank you to everyone who's donated. What is the actual program? Can you speak to what's involved in the program?
Yeah, so EWB have been working on country and with community partners for a number of years, over 10 years. And we've been working on infrastructure programs, and they've been fantastic and they've had real results. But about a year ago, we went, actually, not that we would stop doing that, but let's focus our work on a real issue, something that is going to have really deep, meaningful, long-lasting impact. And of course, water. Right. So if you look at some of the statistics around water for remote Aboriginal communities in Australia, it's crazy. Like, you don't think you're living in a so-called developed world. You wouldn't allow these statistics. They shouldn't, it's like, I think it's something like a quarter of people living in remote communities, thousands and thousands of people don't have potable water, are washing with water that's causing skin disease, like all kinds of problems that it's actually shocking. And when I first started reading into this, I couldn't actually believe that we were talking about Australia here. And there's no plan, because these communities are so remote, there is no plan, no mainstream plan to reach them. They can't, they're expensive. And so in talking to some of our sort of utility partners, they were like, if EWB can use some of what you do internationally here in Australia for these communities and show innovation and show what's possible with more app tech and sort of self-determination solutions, ownership of water solutions, then maybe we can start to mainstream it down the track. And so that's what we set ourselves the goal to achieve, is like, let's try and get to those communities that no one else is able to get to, and let's do it in the way that we operate. We're not starting from scratch here. We know how to do this. And so a year on, we're already starting to see results. We've been working up in Cape York now with the communities up there. Leah, who runs our water program, she's been up there a number of times working on existing water solutions that just aren't working, and so helping to fix them up. But at the same time, working alongside the community so they can see what she's doing. We've also bought and introduced water testing kits to these communities. And the first time we brought them up and we started showing what we were doing, we were like, oh yeah, that's sort of interesting. The third time we've been up there, third time this year, particularly the women are super interested in what she's doing and are now wanting to learn and are now able to test their own water. And that's the dream. That's what we want. We want for every community to have these water testing kits and therefore be able to test their own water and then know what to do with the results. So they don't have to wait for a year for the test results to be flown off to somewhere else, some lab somewhere. They can be working real time with their own situation.
Amazing. So yeah, obviously that will have a huge impact on health, and communities won't have to get sick and then wonder why and then wait for some results to come back. So how much does it cost to roll out a program like this? How much do we need to raise?
Well, it's how long is a piece of string, right? We're talking thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
Right. And so we've started in Cape York. We're moving over into WA in early next year, in 2023, to the communities up in the Pilbara and Kimberley that we work with up there. And there are like, so we're talking about what they call homelands communities. So communities up there that are 50 households or below. They're the ones that aren't getting reached. And there's hundreds of them. And so, we can start in one community, and it's probably about $50,000, honestly, for the 3-year program to return there then and then and then. So to bring out the water testing kits and return and build those relationships and help them understand and feel confident in the results and then what to do with the results. Once that's up and running, it's done. It's $50,000 one-off investment, but then we do that in a number of different communities. There are some economies of scale because we fly up to one community, but obviously then we can start going to other communities. So we can drop it down to about $30,000 over 3 years. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about big sums of money because these communities are remote, and to build the knowledge and confidence and the relationships to enable them to carry this forward, it takes time. So it's not a cheap program, but it's an incredibly important program, and I can literally say no one else is doing it. I went to a conference earlier in the year in Alice Springs, and us and one other small organisation are sort of testing this Akistica, actually, who's one of our partners, are doing it pro bono to see if they can do it because it's such a pressing issue, and no one else is doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's, fantastic, and great to have identified these partner organisations. I know that we've got some funds coming in to match any donations we get from some of our partners, the Fell Foundation and Abergeldy Complex Infrastructure, and of course the amazing Bindi and David Coadlo are just incredible in their support for this kind of work. If people out there in the community want to help, and obviously we need all the help we can get, what should they do?
Yeah, so I think in the URL there, I think the URL is in the chat here somewhere. Go to our website, donate. We don't get money from anywhere else except from individuals. So the Abergeldy Foundation, through their owners, and then through the business, they're committed to this. The Fell Foundation, they're people who've got their own foundation. They give to this. They're individuals who are committed to this work on country. They know it's important. Also, the Banksy Foundation and so on. Bindi and David Coadlo literally underpin all this work. They are so generous in how they enable this to happen. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have been able to kickstart any of this. They seed funded the whole lot. So really, there is no other money other than you, other than people. We're not getting money from government. We're not getting money from, big corporate. This is really you. So if you can give, please give, because it's going to take a lot of money to get out there. We're running on the smell of an oily rag, as you know EWB does. We do pretty well with what we get. And we've got an amazing team. So please, just think about if you were living in a community where you and your kids and your family were drinking brown water, washing in water that was, completely contaminated, that drinking arsenic. There's incredibly high levels of arsenic in some of these communities, like way beyond drinking standard. Like no one should be drinking this water.
Well, all right. So I've got the link just here. It's firstnationsappeal.ewb.org.au. As Eleanor says, it will also appear in the comments attached to this live stream. If we've got any questions from anyone else, Eleanor, have you got a minute or so, just in case any questions have come in? I haven't seen any so far. Looks like we're good. So why don't we just get the word out there? Why don't we wrap this up and hope that it's as many people as possible see this through LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever other channels it's on, and some of them, maybe many of them, get inspired to by your enthusiasm, because I want this project to work, and I can tell that you do.
Yeah, I was talking with Leah recently, and I think it landed for me. She's come out of a big water utility, and she's an excellent water engineer. She said it's taken her a year to understand deeply what it means when we say we listen to First Nations communities. She was talking about a story where she's seen technology's been delivered into communities to try and fix the water problem time and time again. But now, after a year of working with us, she's understood that same community knows where the water is, knows when the water is better in one place and better in another, and what the seasons are, and when it changes and when it doesn't. And so now she's able to really work with that community and put in the right infrastructure, the right technology, and work with those women, particularly in these communities, but also with the entire community, anyone who's interested in learning how to manage their own water. So I just think the way we do things is right. And when I was at that conference in Alice Springs, the Aboriginal people that were in the room would stand up and say, can someone just listen to us? Well, EWB is. And that's why it takes so much money and so much time, because we have to be out there and we have to be listening. There is no just drop it in and fly away solution here.
Wow. Okay, well, let's do some big things this year.
Yeah, let's.
All right. Thank you so much, Eleanor. Thank you for everyone who has kind of tuned in and who will tune in and listen to this. And if you can, whatever you can, please donate. It's thanks to you that all of this work can happen.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Eleanor. See you, everyone.
Bye.